Here at Apache Camping Center, we have people coming from all across the nation looking for their best trailer that fits their needs. And one of the trailers that really stands apart from the rest is Outdoors RV because they do not shy away from weight. If you have the vehicle to pull it, they've got something solid for you to pull. This is the 260 KVS Blackstone edition. The Blackstone just means it's going to be a part of their family of trailers that has 2 or more slides to it. Let's take a look inside and see why this is coming out to just over 8,000 pounds dry and giving you almost 3,000 pounds of carrying capacity. That speaks volumes to how it's constructed. So let's dive into a few pieces that make this an absolutely solid choice. So starting at the very tip of the trailer, this is going to be a coupler. Now, throughout the years, and especially in the last couple of years, they've tried a variety of different things. When you first started, or when you first got an Outdoors RV, back 3-4 years ago, the coupler sat way up here, which meant when you got a weight distribution hitch on your truck, if you were to open your tailgate, it would smack that weight distribution hitch or that extension because you'd have to get it up so high. They've since done an underslung coupler, which dropped it about 5 inches. And now in 2026, for their 2026 model, they've switched it to this adjustable coupler. That is giving you the option of going lower down so you don't have to get that extension to go so high up, or if you have a lifted or larger truck, you can move that up higher. That's attached to this 8-inch I-beam that is fully welded 360 degrees and supported into an I-beam that we'll take a look at later that's supported at each individual stress point. These chassis are built by Iron Horse Chassis that is in-house, directly in charge of building a chassis specific to the layout of these particular campers. You have a lot of campers that build campers on top of a chassis that is just standard, so the balance is a little bit off. If you even ask some of our transporters that transport thousands of different types of trailers, they're going to tell you, if they were blindfolded, they'd be able to tell you if there's an Outdoors RV behind their truck. Much larger propane up front. I believe it's 80 gallons total, and in the extended jack as well. Now, jumping to the battery tray, this is the extended 4 battery tray. It gives you a lot more capacity on there to have longer trips and charge up from the standard 400 watts of solar up top. The front nose cap, this is a solid molded fiberglass nose cap with something like a Line-X or a Rhino lining down below for any of those rocks or anything. But one important differentiator from Outdoors RV is they don't stop at the seam. They wrap it all the way around so that leading edge does not have a seam. When you're going down the road, all the water, material, snow, sleet, ice is getting pounded into a seam on any trailer. But if it's got a wrap around, it's not going to hit a seam back here. That is well protected when you're going down the road. So speaking of not skimping on things, this is the front pass-through compartment for an Outdoors RV. When I open this up, you'll notice that it's going to be very different from a lot of other trailers on the market. Number one, you've got slam latches, which sure, slam latches are great. You get that on a lot of different trailers. Next, you're going to notice that it's going to be a thicker door, which, okay, on a lot of 4-season campers, it's going to have that inch-thick insulation on the door. But when we flip it up on that magnetic latch, you're going to see a fully diamond-plated bottom on there, finished out carpeted sides, and insulated top for your bed area. So this is a completely finished trailer. Baffles me that you can open a lot of these different compartments and find some unfinished work, and I think they've done a really good job of buttoning it up and made it so it's built to be used in a camping style fashion. This compartment is large enough to fit in a Honda style generator. However, there is not a generator available for this particular model to be installed on board. That would be a carry-out generator. So one of the latest additions on the 26 model is these glow step revolutions from TorqueLift. They're the stair system that is now on these trailers. It is something that hits completely to the ground. However, the locking mechanism is a little bit more complicated now that they've added this addition. So there is a pin that you want to put in there while you're traveling, but you take that out, and you're going to flip up this lever and then pull out the steps. Now they're a bit wobbly, so you're going to have to pull it up, out, and then adjust to where you are on the ground. Now, This takes a lot more adjusting than just a normal hanging stair. So once you get it set up, it's a great thing, but getting it set up is a little bit cumbersome. What they like about this is they did put on these little glow tabs, so it's easier to see in the night, so you're not tripping over these stairs. And then to pack it back up, you gotta condense it up, and then it gets a little bit awkward because you gotta lift the tab and then push it in all at once, put it down, put your tab in there, and then you're on your way. So as we move under this amazing awning going out almost 8 feet to the end here, it does give you so much space to be able to utilize this campsite. Now, on the business side here for your campsite entertainment, you do have your outdoor speakers and a quick connect for your propane if you wanted to run a fireplace or a little grill on there. Absolutely great. And then 110 outlets as well. Now the windows on here, these are dual pane windows, keeping you well insulated throughout the seasons. And then the walls on here, these are going to be 2-inch thick of condensed foam insulation. So a lot thicker than what you would find on a traditional travel trailer. It gives you a lot of peace of mind when you're out camping. The awning itself, it's about protection. It's not only for you as a person who's enjoying the camper, but also for the awning itself. They have an aluminum guard as this is rolled all the way up. The last little bit is an aluminum shield that wraps over the awning, keeping it from degradation from the elements as you're storing it, maybe UV degradation, anything like that. This is the main entry point here. We'll dive into that in a little bit. Let's take a look around the outside, take a look at a few of the components that make this an absolutely solid trailer. Well, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. This is a very tall trailer. On the rear end here, you do have this compartment which actually goes directly to your trash compartment for your rear kitchen. You'll notice this massive rear window, which is going to come into play when we get inside, and you get to experience a lot of those outdoors while you're nice and cozy on the interior of your camper. Full spare tire on the back. This one is set up with a 2-inch receiver for bike racks up to 250 pounds. And then you have this, which is one of my favorite details from Outdoors RV. When they put a shower on the outside of a lot of campers, it's gonna be a little plastic sheet, and that is a water line holding water. If you insulate it, it's gonna have a better chance of not cracking or freezing while it's in there. So this is your outdoor shower, nicely placed on the rear of the camper to be able to rinse off you, your kids, your dog, anything that you might need, your sandy feet. Gotta keep that trailer nice and clean. City water connection on the rear there. Hot water heater. Now on this, you'll notice a couple of these. We're going to dive into the suspension system, but up top you do have 400 watts solar standard. You do have the option of going up to 1,000 watts of solar on there. If you wanted to go completely custom, you'd be able to go a little bit higher than that. We'd be able to offer all those for you here at Apache Camping Center. Make sure to ask about that, different lithium packages, because we'll be able to get you set up. So diving into the slide system here, this is a Schwintek slide. Now there is a lot of bad rap around Schwintek, and that came from 2021 to about 2022. The supply chain disruption meant that Schwintek had to go out and find a different gear system, and they ended up with a plastic gear system during those years, and those were not the greatest. Since then, they've moved to a metal gear system, which has been a lot more reliable throughout the years as they've moved forward from 2022. On the slide itself, this is going to be a solid piece that's 2-inch insulated on the sides. If you go push on a lot of different trailers on the side of the slide, that's actually going to be a lot thinner piece. So you think about this big cooler, and then you pop out the side, and now you have a less insulated piece on the side. That's not doing you any favors. This does have 3 different seals on here. So you have this compression seal on the outside, so when this side comes in, it compresses up against that. On the it mirrors itself on the other side, so when it's pushed out, the compression seal is sealed on that side. And then you have this squeegee as well that's helping brush off any material or wetness as it slid back in. So now we're underneath the trailer here. You can see that not only is there a triple slide on the sides and the top of the slide, but you also have that squeegee that is down below. You would probably notice on 99% of trailers, their slide's not going to have that seam down there to be able to keep any material from getting pulled back into the trailer itself. On the wheelbase and everything that's keeping your trailer upright, it does come with standard Goodyear tires on here. These are E-rated tires, which is going to give you a lot better peace of mind as you're going down the road. Like I talked about, this is that 8-inch I-beam that's going throughout the entirety of the chassis. Now, the stress points on the suspension piece and also over any of the linkage is going to have an angle iron in between that I-beam to give it more support, much more than it would ever need, but it's there nonetheless. In between, you have an All-Trek 4000 suspension system and KYB shocks that gives you a nice smooth ride to keep this from jostling too much. So what we have here is an absolutely phenomenal rear kitchen. This is the 260 KVS, just for reference. This is going to give you the most visibility that you could possibly get in a 4-season camper. So it could be dumping snow outside, you'd be cooking up a nice hot cocoa over here and just enjoying the view. On this, it does give you a ton of counter space and a ton of visibility, but what you'll notice is it is lacking a little bit in the storage space. So it's a little bit of that give and take for the experience that you get versus the amount of food in the proximity that you would need to be able to use it. So a lot on this is going to be down lower. So this is the full oven that you have in here. That's going to be much larger than a traditional style RV oven. And then you have a nice drawer underneath to fit your pots and pans. Over here you have your microwave oven. Up top of the counter, again, lots of counter space for you to be able to use. This right here, if you're chopping vegetables or anything and you wanted to throw away the scraps of the onion peels, throw it into here. That's where your garbage can sits. That's the compartment that we saw outside. This is going to be the only storage above the counter space on the KVS, and that's going to give you a spice rack up the wall there. With all Outdoors RV, you do have a huge basin sink, which is fabulous for washing dishes, vegetables, anything that you might use a sink for. Now you notice I am a taller individual. I am 6'5". This is going to have what they call the cathedral style roof. So you can see that dome in there. Like, not only gives me ample head height in here, this is one of the most comfortable trailers that a tall individual would be able to utilize, but also helps shed the materials on the outside, like pine needles, leaves, anything that can collect and pool water, because that's where that water tries to find its way in. So that is a huge benefit, not only for comfort, but also for being able to keep your trailer in a great working condition. Right above here, this is a standard, just regular vent, but we always opt it for the vent fans in there. So that's going to be in the bed, bath, and in the kitchen. Great for using it as an exhaust for the stove. You can open the windows here. That gets a little bit more of a draft in there for maybe making bacon in the morning. This is going to be a little bit newer for 2026, is the dual swing 12 volt fridge. So they did move to a 12 volt fridge, but that does give you the ample space all the way to the back. This hasn't been on for nearly that long, and I can still feel a chill that has been on for maybe 20 minutes. Now it goes all the way to the back because it doesn't have the fins that you need for that cooling system for a propane system. Coupled with 400 watt solar standard up top, the ability to have 4 batteries up front, this is going to last you an absolutely long time. You can always upgrade the solar to up to 1,000 watts, and you can upgrade to lithium. So this is the legendary dinette from Outdoors RV. It is about 6.5 feet in length across, so if we laid this down, I'd be able to lay across this with no problems whatsoever. But beyond just being able to be an extra bed for your guests, this gives you ample room to actually have a feast and not just try to balance a couple plates on here. You want to play Monopoly? No problem. You can sit in these couches for hours and not get uncomfortable. Truly an amazing build from Outdoors RV. So moving towards the rear, you do have your entertainment system here. This is your 12 volt TV, as well as some nice storage up top. This is going to be a bit deeper, about a foot in, to be able to hold any of your probably board games, anything like that would be a good place for it. You also have a little bit of storage underneath, which is always nice to have. Now, one thing to note, these are solid wood doors all the way throughout. This kind of way over here, a lot of people use as their pantry, because this opens up, it's nice and organized in here. You've got different shelves all the way down for any of your food, but it is going to be on the mid of your trailer. Now these guys, probably my favorite. Nice cushion to them. They're firm but supportive, but they are really comfy. You got the little ripcord for recliner, and away you go. Now, this does swing out so you can see the TV, but it is a little bit awkward, but not too bad for this type of a trailer. So here we have the bathroom. This is going to be a mid-bath, so it splits the rear living area with the bedroom area. So this is going to be the only place that you can get from one end to the other without going outside the trailer. Now it does give you a much larger bathroom, and it does make it very luxurious. This is going to be a large countertop with your hot and cold tap sink here, medicine cabinet up top, and plenty of storage. On the flip side, which I'll show you right now, this is the shower. It's going to have a lot of room in here. I'll show you me even standing up in it as a 6'5" person. I think it's going to give you ample room to be able to move. All right, so standing up fully, I do have to use the little sunroof, but I can stand up in here and take a shower. I've got plenty of room to put out my shoulders. Now, say what you will about these different pull-out shower curtains. I think they're really solid and do probably one of the better jobs of keeping the water inside of your shower. This is going to have a little bit of a holder for everything, hot and cold taps, and just a nice place to move around, take a shower. All right, so this is the bedroom, and one of the nice things about the bedroom is the bed, and that is the main focal point here, because this is going to be a very nice mattress. We have a lot of people who end up trading in their outdoors RVs, and maybe they want to try something else, but they will never give up the mattress because it is so comfy. It's going to be almost a residential style mattress. You're looking at almost that thick of foam, and it is ready to go. You can upgrade it to a gel infused mattress that does give you a little bit more comfort to it, and that comes standard on the titanium series, which if you're interested in the different trim levels, which is the mountain or the titanium series, you can follow that link below, and there's a video detailing everything that might be different between those two different style of trailers. Now, in terms of storage, this is where it gets interesting. You do have the traditional style storage up top, which, you know, I'll show you really quick. It's just hanging lockers on either side, and then you have much larger cabinets up top. And then you have full nightstands on either side. Now this goes underneath, this is directly into the pass-through area, and that is insulated under there. The story is that a customer actually built his own insulation underneath there a few years ago, and so many people loved it, and the factory is so open to be able to take different design ideas from the user base, is they incorporated that into every single trailer that they make. So Outdoors RV, very far and few between do you find a trailer company that is just family owned and still open to design and small enough to pivot and make these changes that make their trailers fantastic. Now, if we flip around this way, we're going to see that final slide on here, which is the wardrobe. This is all on a slide, so it's going to be one long hanging wardrobe with multiple different doors, and that is going to go almost 2.5 feet deep. So you have plenty of storage. If you are looking for the long term, this is a fantastic trailer, not only for your clothes storage, but also the room that you get. With that dual slide in the back, it really opens everything up, so you don't feel like you're in a tube anymore. You feel like you are living in a house that, conveniently enough, you get to take to amazing places around the country. So what are these? Well, obviously they're vents, but they are going to be for your heating system. Now, why is that important? It's not necessarily that that's heating coming out of the floors is ducted heating, which gives you the lowest point where your heat comes up so it can rise and you can enjoy all the heat instead of it coming in at about here and rising so your feet are cold. But it's also ducted around the tanks in your camper. So, and then they also slit a little bit around that, so there is hot air blowing directly onto your holding tanks. This is one of the best 4-season campers I've seen on the market. It is one of the best that I see both in build, construction, and how comfortable they make it. This is not a light trailer, but it is a well-built trailer. From the build to construction to the insulation to the amenities on board, they have really stepped up their game to make this something that is comfortable for the long term. If you're looking to travel longer days or have very extravagant weekends and be able to bring the outdoors in, this is a great option for you. We have worked with people from all across the country looking for an outdoors RV, and we would love to help you as well. If you have any questions about how this may fit behind your truck, on the trailer itself, or if you're interested in pricing and availability, we do have that link down below. Feel free to reach out to one of our associates who would be able to help you with any of those fitments, and we look forward to meeting you soon.